All right, let's talk about this one phrase, China style. Now, this isn't just about interior design. We're going to dive into a hidden history, a clash of philosophies, and a style that is, believe it or not, incredibly modern, even though it's been hiding in plain sight for centuries. Let's get into it. So, I want you to do something for me. When you hear the words Chinese interior design, what's the first image that pops into your head? Go on, really picture it. Got it? Okay, hold on to that thought because we're about to put it under a microscope.
I'm willing to bet it's something kind of like this, right? I mean, a whole lot of elaborate carvings, these super rich reds, and of course, flashy, glitzy golds. And look, you wouldn't be wrong. That very opulent imperial look is a huge part of the story. But, and this is a big but, it's only one part.
See, there's this whole other side to Chinese aesthetics. It's a lot quieter, way more restrained, and honestly, it feels much more modern. This is what we're calling the scholar's secret, this beautiful classic style built on simplicity, harmony, and order. And this isn't just about picking out pretty furniture. This is philosophy you can see and touch. Thinkers like Leece and the whole idea of Taoism, they were all about living a simple life in harmony with nature. Well, that very same philosophy of restraint created a design language that, even hundreds of years later, feels incredibly fresh and modern.
And don't just take my word for it. As the famous Ming furniture dealer Grace Wu Bruce said, this style isn't just old, it's timeless. It's an aesthetic that just cuts right through the centuries, and it speaks directly to our modern craving for clean, meaningful design.
Okay, so this right here shows you the huge split. On one side, you've got the Ming Dynasty. This was the scholar's era. Its design is all about quiet confidence, super clean lines, and a real respect for the natural wood. Then you get the Qing Dynasty, where the imperial court used design to scream power. Everything got bigger, bolder, more carved up, more ornate. I mean, it's a clash of two totally different ways of seeing the world, all told through furniture. And the way this stuff was made, it's just stunning. Ming furniture was put together without a single nail or drop of glue. It used this incredibly complex system of interlocking joints. The proportions were so perfect they actually mirrored classical Chinese architecture. But here's the real genius of it. The structure is the decoration. There's no extra fluff. The beauty comes straight from its perfect shape, its materials, and its flawless construction.
So you might be thinking, okay, if the Ming style was so amazing and refined, how did this super ornate Qing style become the poster child for China style in the West? Well, that brings us to the emperor's fantasy.
You see, the incredible opulence of the Qing court was exactly the kind of thing that lit up Western imaginations about this distant, exotic place called the Orient. All the stories of pagodas and palaces and unbelievable riches, it created this powerful romantic image that traders and travelers just couldn't get enough of.
And all of that led directly to a design movement called Chinoiserie. Now, this is a really key term to understand here. This is not authentic Chinese design. It's the European interpretation of it. It's a fantasy of what the Orient was like, all seen through a very Western lens.
So how'd this happen? Well, it was kind of a three-step process. First, real authentic goods like porcelain and silks finally arrived in Europe. Then, local craftsmen started trying to copy them. But pretty soon, just copying them wasn't enough. Imitation gave way to wild imagination, and they started creating their own fantasy versions. This is chinoiserie, full of pagodas, dragons, and exotic birds. And that became the dominant image of China style in the West for centuries.
Which, of course, brings us to today. Because the story doesn't just stop there in the past. Right now, a new global language is emerging, one that's actually fusing these two very different traditions together.
You know, contemporary designers today, a lot of them have international training, but also a really deep pride in their own heritage. They're not choosing between the quiet scholar and the loud emperor anymore. Instead, they're creating a totally new design vocabulary, blending those minimalist lines of the Ming with the rich textures and confidence of the Qing.
And this new language isn't just one single thing. It's incredibly diverse. You can see it in the Art Deco romance of what people call New Shanghai style, or the global minimalism of China modern. And even in the really simple, powerful statement of just placing a single Ming-style chair in a stark industrial loft. It's this amazing, dynamic conversation happening between the past and the present.
And hey, if you need any proof that the world has totally rediscovered this minimalist, scholarly aesthetic, look no further than this number. In 1996, a landmark auction at Christie's pulled in over $11 million. You know, before that sale, Ming furniture was called the best-kept secret in Chinese arts. Well, I think it's safe to say that secret is officially out.
So this really brings us to the heart of it all. Because beyond all the furniture and the fabrics, what Chinese design really offers is a philosophy for how to live.
And it doesn't matter if it's the super ornate Qing style or the minimal Ming style, these three core principles are pretty much always there. Balance in how you arrange a room, order in the symmetry of a design, and harmony, which is all about connecting our indoor spaces with the natural world outside. It's a much more holistic way of thinking about creating a home.
So, if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. China style is not just one look. It's not just dragons and red lacquer. It is a vast, rich, and really diverse design language with all these competing traditions, but they're all built on this one unifying philosophy of bringing harmony into our lives.
So I'll leave you with this question. For a second, forget about decorating and just think bigger. We live in a world that often feels really loud and chaotic and ornate, kind of like the emperor's fantasy, right? So what could we all learn from the scholar's secret? How could a 400-year-old philosophy of balance and order and simplicity, how could that bring a little more harmony into your modern life? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us.